This is Jojo, and this is where he lives, in a small farming village, quite far from the town. This is Kaloy, Jojo's father. He rents a little plot of land where he plants rice and some root crops all year round. Jojo is the fifth out of 7 children, and because there are many of them to feed, Tess, Jojo's mother, has to help Kaloy out in the fields whenever she can. But most of the time, they don't have enough food to eat or enough money to buy different kinds of food. And it also doesn't help that sometimes the floods drown their crops. Other times, drought turns their crops to dust. It's also hard for them to get water for drinking and cleaning the house because the well in the village is about an hour's walk away. The water isn't clean all the time and sometimes causes Jojo and his siblings to suffer from stomach aches and diarrhea. All these issues contribute to the malnutrition and especially stunting suffered by children in the village. Many rural communities in the Philippines experience the same situation. At last count, 1 out of every 3 Filipino children suffer from malnutrition that causes stunting, with many of them coming from families of farmers, fisherfolk, indigenous people, and people displaced by armed conflict. That's why Kaloy and Tess are worried, because they know that stunting and malnutrition can affect the physical and mental development of their children, which means their children might not do very well when they grow up. But Jojo and children like him still have a chance. There are people who are working hard so that they can have a better life, like Tonyo and other village officials like him, as well as many volunteers. Tonyo and the village officials conducted a supplementary feeding program where children were served good, nutritious food for 120 days. In that period, many of them gained some weight because of the program. But they did not stop there. Tonyo knew that the supplementary feeding could be more effective if combined with other nutrition-sensitive programs. But what are nutrition-sensitive programs? These are programs that address basic and underlying causes of malnutrition affecting a family, a community, or even the entire nation. And this is exactly what Tonyo and his colleagues are doing. After gathering information about the food security and nutrition situation of the village, Tonyo and the other officials saw that this community needed better access to some very important things. First, clean water. To give the village easier access to clean water, Tonyo's team, with help from the municipal government, is building a water impounding system that can collect and store water from the rain, as well as from the nearby spring. The water collected will then be delivered directly to the houses in the village, as well as to the public school. It will even be used to water farms, like the one Kaloy has. Tonyo also saw that the village needed easier access to more types of food so that the children there can have better chances of getting all the nutrients their bodies need. One way to make sure different types of food are available to the village is through community and school gardening projects. So Tonyo and his team made sure these were available in their village. Another project they started was backyard duck raising, where they gave several families ducks to raise. Now, Tess is able to include duck eggs, which are rich in protein, in their family's meals. Tonyo said this is a good way for children to get the protein they need so they don't become malnourished. The community gardening and duck raising programs also helped address the third thing Mang Tonyo said their village needed: livelihood opportunities. Now Tess and the other people in the village are able to do activities like vegetable, fruit, and crop farming, food processing, food vending, handicrafts, and livestock raising that let them earn extra money to support their needs. For a long time, it has been difficult for Kaloy and farmers like him to bring their harvest to the market because of the poor road conditions, especially during the rainy season when it gets all muddy. But that will soon change because Tonyo's team is working with some government agencies to build farm-to-market roads. And if a disaster ever hits their village again, Tonyo said that the people shouldn't worry because they will make sure that there will be enough nutritious food and clean water for affected families. In fact, when the rice fields were flooded by a storm last year, they were there to make sure families with pregnant women and young children were able to get good food and clean water. They also helped Kaloy and other farmers with what they needed to re-establish their livelihood by providing seed, fertilizer, and farming equipment. Tonyo and the other village officials also try to help take care of those who are most vulnerable to nutrition issues, like pregnant women and young children, like Josie, who is pregnant with her first child. They are making sure that Josie would be able to learn about the proper diet for pregnant women and the kind of foods that babies need in their first 1,000 days of life. These are among the many programs that Tonyo and the others are doing to make sure that children like Jojo and his siblings have better food security and nutrition and a better chance in life.